Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. With your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Dennis Dick with you this morning. What's on our radar? Well, the Slack Salesforce deal finally went down last night, so we'll talk about the market's reaction to that. There's a bunch of secondary offerings. We'll talk about those as well. Some movers in the pre-market session. Workhorse is moving, so I'm sure we'll hit that. And there are a bunch more stocks on our list that we'll get to throughout the show. Today's guest is Jeff Hirsch. He is the chief market strategist at Probabilities Fund Management. He's also the editor-in-chief of the Stock Traders Almanac. He would join the show at 8:35, give us his thoughts on the market and some upcoming seasonality trades, if seasonality is even a thing in 2020. Who knows at this point? I want to remind you all in our chat to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate that. Joel, give us a recap here. How are we doing in the overnight session?
We are in the red here today, Spencer. I guess a decent amount here. 12 and a quarter, made a new all-time closing high yesterday, and that all-time closing high comes in at 3660.50. Pre-market high just above that. Pre-market low 4250. Not seeing a lot down there. Actually, yesterday's Globex low quite a bit lower than that, so we'll see if we can give back a little bit of yesterday's gains, which we were already doing. Crude, that's in the red by 12 cents here at 44.43. Gold, trying to have two updates in a row, up 470 at we'll call it $5 at 1823.90. Silver bucking the trend here. That's down 6 cents at 24.03. And Bitcoin, well, we're kind of quiet today. We're only down $35 at 19,240. Triple D, I know you were tweeting last. If you tweeted last and traded more, you would probably make more money.
I know. Everybody complains I don't tweet enough. I tweeted like 5 times last night. That's like a record for me. Usually it's like 1 tweet a day, but I tweeted like 5 times last night. I was tweeting important information. I tweeted the fuel cell pricing, which Charles gave us way before it was officially announced. Charles was here in 650 to 7, and it does come in at 650. I don't know. What else did I tweet? I don't even remember.
I don't know. I mean, I don't
useless stuff.
I don't follow.
Mostly uselessness.
Yeah, I don't.
You don't follow me, Joel.
But you know what you don't do, and which I really like. Like, what? You don't tweet like what you had for breakfast and what you had for lunch.
I could do that.
And I'm going to work out. I mean, you know what? Who really cares? You know, I talk about it on the show and probably no one cares.
We do. Joel's like, I swear.
But I don't tweet it out like, oh boy, look at this. I just raked my leaves. Look at all my leaves in my backyard. Like,
what do you eat for breakfast?
What do I eat for breakfast?
Yeah.
I eat a variety of things. I make an awesome breakfast sandwich. I have a variety of ways I can make it. English muffin. Sometimes I put sometimes crab meat, sometimes sausage.
Crab for breakfast.
Crab meat. Imitation crab meat. It's a little bit healthier. Yogurt, English muffins. It's like the highlight of my day, basically. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay. So Dennis,
what do you have, Dennis? Do you have Wheaties?
I have the same thing every single morning. I took the Jeremy Newsom challenge, and I am vegan till noon. That's what I say. Vegan till noon. I have a vegan smoothie in the morning, and then I don't have anything else until 12 o'clock, and then I can eat whatever the hell I want. So my lunch is non-vegan. So I basically have a vegan breakfast. I put same thing in it every morning. I put banana, frozen berries.
Wow.
Avocado, because avocado is good for you. Need a little bit of healthy fats. I have it's like a vegan powder that's got some protein in it, and
I'd be short to two. I'll go short.
A little bit of juice with a little bit of water.
I'm going short to 220
and spinach. I put spinach in there too.
Oh man, I'm going short.
Beyond Meat in
I'm
there?
going short to I'm going short.
I don't lose any weight because I don't move. So my diet is actually okay. It's because I don't exercise enough. I try to stay under 1,000 steps a day because I don't think it's healthy to go over.
You try to stay under?
Yeah, I try to stay under 1,000. I have my stepper on. I try to stay under 1,000 steps a day. It's not healthy to go over 1,000.
All right.
I have a heart condition. Come on.
He's really upset now. He doesn't know what the hell to do. He's going to call Jason and say, Jason.
I'm not upset. We can go to the Slack Salesforce deal. We can go to all the offerings last night.
Yeah, let's go Salesforce. Sure.
Okay. So this is interesting, and it's always funny when these deals are a little bit complex, right? So in this case, it's a cash and stock deal. And you can tell it's complex because the market didn't quite know what to do with the headline. If Joe pulls up if you look at the 1 minute chart, you'll see what I'm talking about. But because it involves some math, they weren't quite
it involved grade 1 math.
Right. Well, yeah. But they were like, is it good? Is it bad for Slack? We don't really know. Anyway, here's the details of the deal. Salesforce is going to buy Slack. It's $26.79 per share in cash, plus 0.0776 shares of Salesforce stock.
Too complicated.
It gets complicated. So
Right.
what you got to do, let's do the grade 1 math lesson. You need to take your closing price of Salesforce to get what the actual price of the deal was, 241.35, times that. Give us the ratio again,
0.0776.
776, and that gets you $18.72. And then you take the $18.72 and you add it on to the 26.79 cash price, and that gets you what the deal was valued as, about $45.51, so $45.50. But CRM, they throw the curveball at you, is down $14, so you're going to be lower than that. So obviously, for every dollar that CRM falls now, Salesforce got to fall, or Slack's got to fall 7 cents, 7.5 cents. So when it falls $14 times 7.5 cents, that's how much you got to fall today from where you were before. And then obviously you got to price in the discount for the risk that the deal doesn't go through. And they're getting you a price about $43.30. So you're trading about $1 below where the takeout price is, which, is a little bit of, it's not much time premium of money anymore. So you don't have to worry that much because the interest rates are zero for the most part. But that's how you do it.
I have a hot take here. I think so. You know how they always sell. They always punish stocks for buying another company, right? They always that Salesforce is down today. My hot take is this is the most inefficient part of the market because look what Salesforce did. They just reported a amazing quarter. They blew away estimates and they raised their guidance for the quarter and for the year. It was an awesome quarter, and yet the stock is down because they're buying another company. Give me a break. This company
pretty big premium though.
Salesforce is printing money right now.
Believe me, I know. Benioff was on Mad Money last night. He couldn't stop bragging about himself and the company. So it's kind of gagging, actually, just to listen to Benioff. He's always like that. He's on there just telling how awesome his company is. And I mean, it's one thing you should talk about your employees, and how, they're doing a good job. And our company is doing well. Like the Take-Two CEO is modest. You get the Benioff, he is the opposite of modest. He sits on there and has to brag about his company for 10 minutes, saying even the people, he says the people who use his products, the customers of Salesforce are better companies for using Salesforce products. He went as far to say that too. So, I mean, it's a little bit gagging, but like you were saying, maybe he's got, this is correct because Salesforce has done a lot of good things here. So I can't honestly stand listening to Benioff, but with that being said, he's done a great job with it. And, maybe we should just look at it as lack of modesty aside. This company has, been a really good stock for a long time. And on the dip here at 227, I could get on board with you. I could get on board with you nibbling on some Salesforce.
Yes. Get on board.
Should we apply the NAT indicator to this stock?
What's that?
What was that guy? NAT. We were talking about.
Oh, the CEO from NAT?
Yeah.
Remember he was on Mad Money? Now that guy was awesome. I don't know what his name was, but he was from, where was he? Somewhere, Northern Europe there, like what is it up there? Like Iceland or something, but it's not. Norton.
The Nordic countries are Norway.
Well, Nordic American tankers. So there you go. So you know whereabouts he is.
Finland and Sweden are those countries.
Yeah. So anyway, and he was on Mad Money, and that was the best Mad Money interview ever. And he trumped Benioff big time, man. He was bragging so much about his company. He's like, "We're raking it in, man." Right on Mad Money. I was like, this is the best interview ever. Stock was going, and that's when it topped out. It was the next day at $8. If you look at the chart, that was the very, very top. You see that big spike? That's the Mad Money. We're raking it in spike when it went to $9 if you bring up NAT back in like March. But the interview was just hilarious. I was laughing through the whole thing. I was like, that's the best one ever. I've never seen anybody, a CEO, come on and say, we're raking it in.
There it is, right there on the chart.
Norway.
Yep, CEO brags about, I can't spell. Better get that off there. Anyways.
That's the Mad Money top there.
I think you guys
Benioff maybe has maybe he's got a little bit more reasons to brag because NAT, I mean, it was doing well when oil went negative because they needed a place to store all the oil and they had the tankers. That was the oil negative top for NAT, the one company that benefited from negative oil. Well, I guess there's a lot of companies that would benefit from negative oil, but the one company that can actually take advantage of negative oil prices. So
this is going to fill the gap. I'm not touching this here. You guys can buy it. Yeah, you guys can buy it at 228.
Where's it going? Tell me where to buy.
211.
211?
Mm-hmm.
All the way down to 211, eh?
Yep.
Oh,
a little bit.
But remember JP Morgan.
No, not 211. No, 218.36. Because you got a gap between 249.47 and 218.35. So 218.36. There's my bid in CRM. Got another $10 to go. Don't do it today, Dennis. I don't want to hear you complaining about it.
Listen,
tomorrow.
Though, the last time you told me not to buy the stock
on now you're
JP Morgan whale trade. And JP Morgan was $35. And I was like, I'm just going to put some of this JP Morgan in my long-term account. Joel's like, don't do it. It's going to 30. And it went down like 32 or 33 and didn't get to 30, and now it's $119. So I tried to save myself
couldn't buy it
a couple of bucks because Mr. Elconin told me I could save myself a couple of bucks, and I missed the entire run. So I mean, if you like CRM for the next 25 years, then don't try to save yourself.
Yeah, you haven't brought up the JP Morgan story in a long time.
I'm still mad at you for that. I've never got it back.
Yeah, and you couldn't buy it at any other price. There were no other trades. It gapped up.
No, I had to buy it at 35 that day. That was the only time I was going to buy it. And you talked me out of it. And I tried, okay, I'll save myself a couple bucks. And I never got the stock.
I admit he's right for once.
He's right for once. Although you're down a few bets on me too here. Okay,
I don't do that anymore.
Rein us in here, Mr. Israel. Bring us back to the markets.
All right, can we talk Pfizer for a quick second? Because it's not every day that a vaccine actually gets approved, and that is what happened in the UK. They have approved the Pfizer and BioNTech COVID vaccine, and they're going to start giving it to people in the next couple of weeks here.
It's not every day that a vaccine gets approved, but it feels like every pre-market, Pfizer's trading up $1. And if you look at the chart from the last 5 days, it's traded up every single day for like the last 5 days. Now you're starting to get into like this whole 41, 42, but the next one that's coming is going to get approved in the US, and then it's going to pop $1 or $2 on that too. So, I mean, the whole, headlines here has been something positive. It seems like for it every day, driving it up every single morning. You get near this high from, I'm going to say the 41.99 back from November the 9th, when obviously we, got the news that, hey, this vaccine's doing pretty good on the vaccine Monday. I think you run into major resistance there. I am long Pfizer, long and strong, holding on to my Pfizer stock that I bought back in, I think, 2007. I'm going to hold on to that forever, or maybe never say forever.
How much money are they going to make off this drug, Dennis?
Probably nothing. Probably not much. It's not a big difference maker for them, but it's a story, Joel. It's a story that's hot. And let's be honest here. Pfizer is not in a cash crunch. Pfizer, the dividend 3.73%. Pfizer makes some money. What's it trade? What's the multiple on Pfizer, Spencer? Just forgetting about this. Trade 12, 13 times?
Oh, less, I bet.
Might be less.
I'm going to the Benzinga Pro and find out for you.
It's not an expensive stock.
Let's try that again. Give me 10 seconds.
I'm looking for it too. Trying to beat you to it. I'm back. Maybe they didn't have that great of a year last year. I got 25 times.
Than you. It's not fair. Okay, I'm seeing a forward PE of 13.
13. Nice. Okay, I was guessing 13 forward. Not an expensive stock. I mean, some pharmaceuticals like Gilead trade like 4 times. So when you don't have the growth, but Pfizer's got the story going in it right now. If I was in it for a trade, I'd ring the register at $41.99. But I'm in it for the long-term investing. I'm in it for the long term. Warren Buffett style.
41.43. That was your 415 high. So around 4. So that was a little. I don't know if it's going to open over 41. I mean, clear out the book. I mean, you've been up here again.
Goes up every morning. I honestly had it on my sheet to buy it last night just because I figured it'd be up the next pre-market because that's what it's done for 4 days straight. So, and I didn't do it. So just like extra shares, just to have overnight there and then sell them in the pre-market the next day. I mean, it's every single day. It feel like this thing is up in the pre-market.
I mean, if you're really interested in this thing, I think you might be able to get it around 40.50 today. That was the high of yesterday, so that would be a gap fill. It was gapped up. Wow, 1, 2, 3 days in a row. So I don't know, a little top heavy here. Let's see if it can hold this. Already 75 cents off the pre-market high.
What about Gilead? Somebody just said buy Gilead. I don't mind it actually here. I hated it there for a bit. I've hated it forever. But you know what? You got the value trade back on to a certain extent, and Gilead is the definition of a value stock. I know, Remdesivir isn't getting far, but I mean, that chart doesn't look that bad, Joel. It kind of looks like it's ready to maybe make a run for 65. Is there a trade in here, 61 to 65?
I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. If you want to wait like 6 months, a year.
No, the dogs are barking right now. We've saw a lot of companies with lower P's go. You know what? I could get on board on the Gilead trade. I could get on board for a trade here, 61 to 65. I'll make a bet with you right now. I think it trades 65 before 57. It's 61 right now. Well, I'm getting bullish Gilead right now on the show live. I'm actually moved. I have no position. I might take a position here after the open. We'll see. I think there's room to 65. Just a trade, though. Just a trade.
Oh, man. Come on, trend line. I don't know. I mean, man, I wish I could
just draw the downward trend.
No.
Take over your computer. No. Annotation live. Annotate. Here we go. Look. Here I am. Triple D drawing the trend line. Freehand. Oh, I got right through those bars. I don't know if you're supposed to do it that way.
Oh God, is that a messy? That is so messy. It reminds me of this trend line.
We both suck at trends. We need Jeremy Newsom to draw the trend.
This.
Spencer, you could draw. I failed. We both failed art. Me and Joel. We can't draw a trend line.
See, it's the lift indicator. Trend line indicator on Gilead, so that's why I'm not taking this.
Yeah, now my thing's over there. How do I get rid of this?
Yeah,
again?
You gotta clear, man. You gotta.
I don't know. Jeremy's texting me. Should I ask him right now?
We need to come on the show and start drawing the lines for us.
Okay.
More purple.
It's breaking out. I mean, it could go. I mean, what are you gonna if you are taking a look at this long term? I mean, where's it gonna go? $59. When you were talking about shorting it going through 60, and I'm like, where's it going? 59.
Yeah, it's too much value there. The value came in.
Yeah.
The dividends there. I mean,
but they need a draw.
4.5% dividend.
That's a good dividend, but it is breaking this deep trend line. Yep.
I like it right now, 61 to 65. I turned bullish today.
You know what, Dennis? People do not want to hear about Gilead.
No. You know what they want to hear about? They want to hear about fuel cell. That's
let's talk fuel cell.
FCEL and holy mackerel. That's starting to look like that ACB chart, lo and behold. Remember what we were saying about a week ago? Eventually the fuel cell is going to look like the ACB chart. It's the ACB indicator for fuel cell. Spencer, give us the details on why fuel cell is in the gutter.
Yep, and I'm going to grab the screen for 1 second, Joel, and I just want to bring up Benzinga Pro here. So this is one of the beauties of Benzinga Pro. There's, as Dennis mentioned at the top of the show, there was a bunch of offerings last night. Most of them were small, not that important, not relevant to us. The fuel cell offering is the big one. All you got to do is go into the newsfeed and search for the word offering. And that's every single headline within a company.
Look how many offerings there were last night.
So this is 4 p.m. here. So starting with Twist Bioscience, right? There was a dozen or so. Well, what's the big one? Well, it's the one that's in red, obviously. Fuel cell offering to be priced at between $6.50 and $7 per share, somewhere in that range. And you can see that below that, the offering was of just under 20 million shares. So there we go. Fuel Cell, JetBlue, it was notable as well, but Fuel Cell is the big offering from last night, and just under 20 million share offering, somewhere in the high $6 range.
And that's dilutive. It's not dilutive to the tune of 24%, so they're really slamming it, but they really had to price this one in the hole to get it done. And I believe we have official pricing coming out at 650. So props
that is official. If I had scrolled up, you would have seen that. That was
props to Charles, who shouted that out around just like 520. The stock was trading around 780, and he shouted out, hearing JP Morgan, we're hearing pricings between 650 and 7, and then it came in the low end of that at 650. So if you're so inclined to sell the stock on Charles' information there when he said he was hearing that, you're getting out at 775, 780, and this morning you're back in at 680, so you're saving yourself a buck. I tried to actually short this on the headline. The uptick rule was in there, so we were all ganged up trying to get short, and there was nothing to be had. It actually took quite a few seconds for it to start falling, because only natural sellers can hit it when that uptick rule's in. So the uptick rule, it's called the alternative uptick rule. When a stock falls 10% in one day, then that the remainder of that day and the next day, the stock is subject to the uptick rule and you can't hit bids to get short. So the only people who could hit the bid when this news came out were people who actually own the stock. And it's piled on. All the shorts, like people like me, there's like a bazillion shares to sell like 905, and then there's like 500 shares by 904. There's a bazillion shares to sell like 904, and then there's like 300 shares 903. And a bazillion, they chase it all the way down like that for like a buck, like a long ways. I gave up around 880 because I realized I'm not going to get short this thing. Didn't get any stock. I was participating with the bazillion shares, like the linebacker in football. They're ganging up and building up. But anyways, that's how it works when you got the alternative uptick rule in it. Just
you can short on an uptick, right?
You can't. Okay, so the alternative uptick rule is different than the original uptick rule. You cannot hit the bid to get short. You actually don't have to have an uptick. Okay. If the offer, if you're on the offer and, the last tick was 689, you don't have to get, if it was actually not an uptick, you can still get short. It's you can't hit the bid to get short.
Got it.
So you cannot hit the actual bid. You have to get lifted. So who the hell's lifting an offer when there's an offering just coming out? So it's really hard to get short. So that's, the rule. So they've put it in there. So the person who owned the shares, that they were really savvy and on the headline, could have actually got out of this at like $9 if they were really quick. There was time. I'm telling you, I was on the offer 904. It took probably a good 30 seconds before it was through, 885, like before it was even down 20 cents last night. So if you're long Fuel Cell, not paying attention to your Benzinga Pro headlines, there cost you some money last night because you could have got out.
Yeah, you mentioned football. Was that Canadian football that you were mentioning?
Yeah, the extra 10 yards and the only 3 downs.
And you guys have like 5 teams and 2 of them had the same name.
I know you have to make fun of us for having 2 with the same names. That's
Joel, you're Canadian.
Work. I know he's half Canadian. He makes fun of the Canadians all the time. Yeah.
Are you a buyer?
We like playing hockey, and our football league doesn't have a lot of teams.
Wait, Joel, pull up a chart of Fuel
and maple syrup. Are you a buyer at 650?
We tap all our maple trees right now. All of my maple trees in my yard are tapped, getting syrup. We like the syrup.
Are you a buyer at 650?
You know what? No, probably not. But I mean, if you're trading, that's probably where your floor is going to be. I don't know if it gets to 650. I don't think it gets all the way down there. In this case, this was a storied stock. It's still, now it just got hammered in 2 days. I think you'll have some people trying to come in, buy the dip on this thing. I mean, 650 is obviously your number now because that's where the offering price is. So that's where people who actually get the secondary price are marked from, and then they're turning around probably trying to flip it. That's what really drives it. The Arabs hit it down thinking, okay, yeah, maybe I can participate in this thing, get some allocations at 650. And they also know, like people like me, that it's going to go down towards that price. It acts like a magnet. But because it was a storied stock, it probably bounces off of that. But again, this is a tricky market environment. We just know, when stocks go parabolic like Fuel Cell did, that eventually it's probably going to give it back. That's why I said when it was, $10, and I know it went up to 11.31 that day. But if you go rewind the show to the 24th, I said eventually this looks like the ACB chart. It will give it back, and it's going to be like halved of that. And the ACB did exactly that, went from 14 down to 7, but then it started rallying again. So maybe there's hope for you if you're using the ACB indicator, but I'm not jumping in Fuel Cell.
Okay.
They'll just dilute you again next month. It seems like the stock has an offering every other month.
Yeah. I mean, that's support. That's a floor right now, trading at 691. Good segue into pot though. Pot is hot. We're having Alan Brockstein on tomorrow, but man, oh man, what's going on with these pot stocks today?
Well, the UN is bullish, or I don't know if that's fair to say. But anyway, the UN reclassified cannabis as a less dangerous drug. They have removed removed it from the Schedule 4 list. So they're changing a classification that was in place since the 60s. So obviously, this is all moving towards federal legalization in the U.S. We're going there. It's not a question of if; it's a question of when. Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be the year after? Is it going to be in 5 years? We don't really know, obviously, but every step is an incremental step towards that eventual decision. And this is what's helping pot this morning.
They're only 40 years or 50 years behind Ann Arbor, Michigan. They legalized it in the 60s. So they're only, just to mention another Michigan plug there. But I mean, it's news, it's moving, it's popping up, man. This ACB chart.
I have some serious thoughts on this stuff. This move just for day traders out there. So this is the same as Tesla yesterday. You had a broken you had an ugly candle, and then you got some positive news that night, which was obviously, they were going to add the S&P, to the S&P in one chunk. That's why I said yesterday on the show, I think you saw the rally in Tesla. It's down $30 from there. I'm going to say the same thing. You had ugly candles in all these pot stocks yesterday. Now you get positive news driving a lot of them back up. Maybe some getting back, half of the losses from yesterday. There's people who are caught. I believe they will sell. I believe that this rally, I'm going to make a call here. I think all these pot stocks that are trading up here this morning, and a lot of them are trading up 3-4%, I think they all close red today. So I would sell this. And it's not just my hate for pot stocks. It's just to the day traders there. I would sell this short. Okay. This is just my opinion. But I think there's a trade here to sell this rally and, recover, when you get towards yesterday's lows or whatever. Just short-term trades. But I think, or maybe even not that, I think I would just be selling. I think this is a rally to sell in the pot stocks. They've had a hell of a run. And it's been like this laggards, pot stocks been lagging forever. And we know the laggards in the last month have really picked it up. And a lot of these Canadian pot stocks have, really, picked it up as well. But look at that chart from ACB. That was an ugly, take your profits and run candle yesterday. Now you get some of it back and people are like, oh, I bought this 1050. Thank you for giving my money back. So I think when we open, I think we start to leak. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if they give them all back.
Just keep an eye on your pre-market highs then, if you're looking, if for a potential target. Also, you can look at the close, not from yesterday so much as they're trading up, but look at the close from ACB, man. That's up in 1168, and someone has their foot on it, like right here. It seems like there's a solid offer here. What's the pre-market high here? 1080. So just keep it if you're following Dennis's train of thought here, take a look at the pre-market highs and see if you get any follow through to that, and then look for the 2-day close on this issue. But man, that's way up in the $11 handle. So that's CGC probably looking the same way.
They do. They all had ugly candles yesterday. This is a nice setup. It's a nice setup to sell. Okay. The textbook would say sell, and my textbook would say sell this rally.
Wow, Tilray got up to $12 a couple days ago and back down. So, okay, we'll keep an eye on the pot stocks.
I mean, Tilray's getting half its losses back from yesterday. That's a good one right there. Just look at. I don't think you're going to get up. I think you're going to run a major resistance up 7% this morning. I think you're going to run up in a major resistance around 9. And I don't think you're going to get all the way there. I think there's going to be profit takers. So, yeah, I don't like them.
All right, George Chan says, Triple D, you were right on ACB last month, 100%. Okay, thank you, he says.
All right.
That right there is the problem.
Is that Mitch?
No, yes. I got some information for you guys to watch out for one.
What do you got?
So CGC has been doing partnerships with sports teams with their BioSteel. So it's not just
Wait, what is that? I don't know.
Yeah. So we're given. So the sports player is going to start smoking pot.
No, it's what it is. It's clean, healthy hydration. So sugar-free sports drinks.
Though this is CGC. They put cannabis oil into drinks, don't they?
Well, it'll be like CBD. It's not pot. It's not
okay.
It doesn't have THC in it. It has CBD in it, so it's like nuts. It won't get you high.
Gotcha.
So
they're
BioSteel
still pass their testing.
has become the official sports drink of the Philadelphia 76ers. And that just came out at 7:30.
And that's
keep an eye on CGC. I think in the Canada names, that's the best one.
Problem with to say that, I'm not talking about what Dennis just talked about with the trade, but if you're buying and if you're trying to buy and hold these stocks, these Canopy Growths and these Tilrays and these ACBs and Afria, APHA, if you're trying to buy and hold it, this is the problem. Is there's all that overhead supply. Every step of the way is going to be somebody else looking to take profits or looking to get it.
Or get their money back.
Or get their money. That's what I meant. Looking to get their money back, looking to get out. So that's the problem. It's why I am bullish pop, but I've avoided these names like the plague.
The Canadian ones have been terrible. They've had a run here in the last month because all the leaders became laggards and the laggards became leaders. So this is not even, all about pot. I mean, a little bit about Biden. Yes. So yes, that's helped. But it's also been that, you've got stocks like Ford and General Electric that have just ripped higher. People have looked and they want to look for what's been lagging, and that's what they've been buying in the last month. So you have two catalysts that have run why the pot stocks have run. One, Biden presidency. We know he's going to be more loose on the restrictions there. And then two is laggards are leading, and those have been laggards. I don't know when that party ends, but I think it does end. The Canadian pot stocks, like I said, I believe are grossly overvalued still. But again, story gets hot, valuation doesn't matter, right? So story started getting hot again. Probably, that Biden was the initial catalyst, and then it's just continued to carry. So is this story over, or does the Biden presidency, the thought of a Biden presidency continue to drive this higher? It could. When I'm talking about selling these short-term trades, I don't know. I can't, predict out. I think when you look at these stocks 3 years from now, they're all much lower because I just see competition everywhere for these Canadian ones. But I don't know where, it's going to be 3 months from now. It's hard to predict.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little more about this tomorrow with Alan Brockstein. 8:32, we're going to have Jeff Hirsch from the Stock Traders Almanac on in a couple of minutes. I want to cover JetBlue quickly. They were amongst the companies that had an offering last night. They announced a 36.5 million share offering at a price of $14.40. So JetBlue raising some money, probably good for the health of the company, but bad if you're a shareholder right now.
This is the problem of buying the laggards, is that the stocks get up in price and the companies are still in trouble. So buying all the airlines and the cruise lines, and the fuel cells of the world that just continue to need to raise money. I mean, that's the problem, is that as the prices go up, it's a lot more attractive to do an offering.
Yeah.
So, I got whacked with the NCLH. I was long and I held a little piece, and they did an offering and then they nailed it back down. I mean, American Airlines have done the same thing. I mean, they have to do this. They're still not through the woods. So even though we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, they still got to get the train through the tunnel. So they are going to do more dilution, some of these companies going forward. So they rally up. They need to raise cash. So what the best time to raise cash is when everybody's hot for your stock. So that's what that's why you see Fuel Cell do it too. Everybody's hot for their stock. So they raise it, and they had to still do it way in the hole. So, I mean, JetBlue is the same thing. They need probably the money to get them through. I do believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel here. I would probably be inclined to buy the JetBlue. Do we have an offering price on JBLIU?
I thought he said $14.50.
Yep, I did.
So it's below it.
$14.40.
Yeah.
$14.40. So it's actually trading below it. I could get on board with. I think you got it. I don't think it's going to bounce right out of here, but I could get on board with buying some JetBlue if you really think the reopening's coming. But again, you look at where it was 7.14, it started at 20. Some of these other airlines are a lot more discounted than JetBlue is. And I'm just looking from where they were when COVID started. So JetBlue is basically 21, got down to like $6 when we thought the world was ending. It's back 14, 16. The other day it's at 14. I mean, you look at American Airlines and you're sitting at 14 and it was at like 28. So you're getting a better, if you're just looking at where they were to where they, maybe they're in worse shape, but save the same thing. Some of these are down 50, 60% still. JetBlue is only off about 25, 30%. So I think the other ones are maybe more attractive if you're buying airlines.
Yeah, offering price is acting as resistance right now. And then also just interesting, when this thing fell off the cliff, I mean, it got hit in February. the March high. Let's go to the monthly highs here. March was 1611, and then and then in November you got up to 1615, and then so far this month, which is still young, got up to 1577. So just mark down $16 on that one. I mean, of course, the offering price, temporary resistance, but in order to major breakout on the upside, 3 monthly highs in the $16 area. I'll be keeping an eye on that, and I don't think you're going to get a chance to buy it, in single digits. But what was the low on that? Well, this probably pretty easy. The low was a 661. You had about a 10-point move. I mean, I'd be really interested.
You got a lot of
$11, $12 area, but I don't think it's getting that low.
I don't think it is either.
All right. Waiting on Jeff Hurst to hop in.
Okay.
We can go forever. What about Workhorse?
Yeah.
Talking all these momos. Workhorse getting hammered this morning because of the delay in the USPS decision.
Yep, it is a show me story, and they're saying, well, we're going to show you a little bit later. The decision on the USPS next generation mail truck contract that Workhorse is, of course, one of the finalists for has been moved. Pushback reportedly, decision will not be coming now until Q2 of next year.
It's a long time to wait. Investors don't want to wait around that much, so they're hammering it. What a range this has been in, though, Joel? This is like that channelingstocks.com stock, man. 15 to 30, 15 to 30. You're buying at 15, you're selling at 30, I guess. I don't know. Keep trading the range until it doesn't work anymore.
Buy the dip, sell the rip.
That's it, man. You got this figured out, Mitch.
Come on, guys.
I mean,
it's a simple game.
They're really punishing this thing for a delay.
They're hammering it.
Yeah,
I think
it's a long delay.
I would be careful.
People are into the short-termism of this market. They don't want to wait 3-4 months to find out. They're like, sell first, ask questions later on this one.
Yeah,
I'd $15. I'd be a buyer. I don't think it gets there, but maybe it does. I like it at 15 because everybody else bounced there like a bazillion times.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking for 12. 12.
You think it's going to 12?
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Mitch is really bearish here.
And this is from a person that was a big bull in this stock. So.
You were the first one in it. You got us in at $3. I like it at 15. So if it gets down to 15, I'll buy some. Put my order in there.
Just on a day perspective, I mean, they're really punishing this thing for a delay. So that's how the street wants to react to it. I mean, it did get to $18 now at 1988. I don't think you're going to get a shot at this thing at $18 today. Just that quick drop, and now it's coming back up. So after you hit 18, you can look at potential resistance at 2068. That was the high of the rebound. Triple D, Andre Noble, tip 599. He's sees resistance at 6. He wants to know what you think of Tesla here at 566.
It's a hard trade because right now the story is, in profit-taking mode here. So, we've had such an incredible run. Yeah, that ugly candle was an easy call yesterday to say that they're probably going to sell into that rally because they have people caught. They've already now sold into the rally. You still got to remember the offering or it's going into the S&P. They're going to have to buy a lot of stock. I think that gets front run, basically people just coming in ahead of it. So I think it will resume its uptrend. I look at 554. The low from 2 days ago. And this is just a trade. And remember, there's a very crowded trade. So it can do some wild things. So it's high risk, high reward here. But I'd say I think you bounce in the 550 area eventually. And then probably eventually I think you're going to be above 600 again before it moves in the S&P. I think it'll be a topping event for the stock. I do believe that the S&P ad, when they finally get it, it's going to be wild. And we don't even know what's going to happen. It's going to be wild. I believe it's on the 21st, Spencer.
Well, effective the 21st.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So
I was on mute there. Effective the 21st. So that means really the 18th.
The 18th. The 18th is going to be the fireworks because it's effective the 21st. So Friday the 18th. Oh, and they even throw it on the triple wedge. So just for fun. So we just throw a little more volatility in there too, Joel. We'll do it on the triple wedge.
Oh, so really?
Maybe they should have considered doing it on the 25th. or the 11th and not doing it on the triple witch to even get more craziness going. But it's just me, S&P. I guess I should have commented for you. I didn't realize that they were trying to do it on a triple witch Friday option expiration.
You remember how, you know what I'll just say about this one? Remember how it acted at 500? You know, it got up there. That was after the split, and he had a pretty good reverse off that.
Yeah.
I think 600 is going to be the same one. I
think so too.
Yep. And
I don't think it's an easy road now.
Yeah, and I think a little people are caught. I think that, I don't know, it had that crazy range from 410 or 400 to 450. I mean, why not come back and test the top of that range? I mean, why can't Tesla go back down to 450, right? I mean, is that
I don't think it's going to go that far before the ad. I think that
not before the ad, but
I think wherever I think it's going to top out there right around between the 18th. I think your Tesla 52-week high for a long time is going to be somewhere between the 18th and the 22nd, right in there. So, you're going to be right in those couple of days. That's where you're going to want to be a seller, I believe, into all that buying pressure that's going to happen. But it can sometimes top out before it too. Like I said, it's such an anticipated event. And think about how crowded this trade is.
It's a crowded trade.
It's a crowded long already. So, it could have a little cool off period. We're still a couple weeks away. So, you're talking almost 3 weeks away here. So it could have a little cool off period before that too. So it's not just easy money. It was easy money, the 450, has
anybody downgraded it in a while too? That's
nobody's got the guts right now with the S&P ad coming.
Really?
I think so.
I'm downgrading
I wouldn't
it.
Downgrade it. You're downgrading it? Joel's doing it?
Let's
you
see.
own it.
The last downgrade.
He owns it, for crying out loud.
I want to sell it.
I want to
sell that, and I want to sell. You know what? I really want to sell Peloton.
I know you want to sell all these.
I really do
about these things. It's still holding on, man.
I know.
Hold on, pretty good.
I know.
Zoom's 400.
Zoom spooked me, man. That's what I'm gonna do.
The best quarter ever, and they hammered it.
Yeah, I'm gonna show Lisa this Zoom chart.
You got to put the business proposal together to be able to sell the stock. He's got to write up the business plan, use Zoom as his indicator there, showing the charts, show all the technicals, and maybe she'll approve it. Maybe
she'll say, "Well,
buy more."
No, yeah, well, we're not going to buy more.
Does Lisa ever sell anything?
No,
she never sells.
No,
she's a
I don't
genius,
think so.
man.
Actually,
the market's at all-time highs.
I think we've been investing we've been married for 30 years, investing for. I don't think ever.
She's never given the green light to sell anything, although you've sold stuff. Never sell. I mean, when the markets only go up, which is kind of proven true, considering we're at all-time highs.
Do we know?
I sent him an email. Don't know where he is.
Did he confirm it?
He did. And
he slept in.
Man.
Anyway, let's go to the chat here. There's a bunch of tickers that they're dropping in there.
We can talk forever.
Yeah. Space.
If Jeff blows us off, he's gonna fall into the should I mention the people that are banned from coming on the show or not, Spencer?
Don't do that.
Did we ban Benny off? Because he brags too much? I think I want to ban Benny off.
How many people are banned, Spencer?
From coming on? Is there a few?
Greater than one, and
usually when you stand us up, that's a tough one.
I know there's two for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Virgin Galactic.
I think Peter Schiff is banned now, isn't he?
No.
We'll have Peter Schiff.
Peter.
He just yelled at us that day, but he shows up. He's mad
because he got dressed up. He was in the studio.
You dressed up was when before we had video. He was so angry at us because it's like, I put makeup on or something. I got all dressed up. This is radio. And then he comes on. He's so professional after he just yelled at us before he came on.
All right. That was a 4
That is too much information.
Oh, he's good. Peter's listening. He'd laugh about that. We love you, Peter. Come back on our show.
Okay.
Here's a video now.
Here's a question from the Benzinga.com chat from Go with the W. Virgin Galactic SPCE. Good time to sell into the top of the range, or is this going to break out?
You know what? This is a storied stock, and it's all about the story. So I was in it. I said I wasn't going to sell it, and I did sell it, and I don't have it now. I want to pull back to get back in. I screwed up. I had a bunch of this stock. I knew, I bought around $15 and I sold some at 20 and I sold some more at 22. And then I was like, I think the story's cooled out. I should have rebought it. It gave me a chance even after that at 17. So I sold well, but didn't rebuy. That's always my problem. I did not rebuy. So I think the story is still intact. It could get carried. It's also interesting that it hasn't sold off yet. You have all these, high flying momos that have really run in the last couple of weeks sell off, like Palantir, has had an ugly fuel sell. Jemiah has come down the mountain. Base still holding on. That Fubo, those two stocks are still holding on. So I don't know. Maybe it's a catch up trade and they're eventually going to sell off. But I tell you, so far so good for space shareholders. I think you're due for a pullback though.
I mean, if you're thinking about that, then, look at yesterday's high. That was 29.59. So keep an eye on that. Also, the high close of the move, that was yesterday at 28.35. So just right down that 28.35, level. And, it's still 45 cents above that. So as long as it holds that, I just wouldn't like to see it, lose that, or if it hangs out there, let's say it sells off a little bit today and then hangs out there for a couple days, that might be a little bit of a signal that, someone is trying to work out of a piece. Also, just looking at the monthly candles here, I know we've got up in this area a few other times. It's still early in the month, but boy, oh boy, if you don't think it's going to work a little bit part of that lower monthly candle, I think you got a little bit of work to do in that area, but keep an eye on that high close of the move. That was yesterday, 28.35.
All right, and just to address something from the chat real fast, we try to talk about stocks that we can have that we have knowledge of, or that we can provide some insight on. For all the people who are dropping SNDL in there, like Sundial, this is the penny stock of the week. That's not in our wheelhouse. We're not.
Yeah, what are we going to say about it?
We're not going to be able to give you any like knowledge that can help you, because you have to trade what you know, and we
don't know this.
We don't know.
What is it? SNDL?
SNDL.
Sundial Growers. It's your hot stock of the week.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, like that's just not in our wheelhouse. It's not in our bag.
We're not penny stock traders,
right?
I've and obviously there's a lot of people that make money in penny stocks. I think we all started in penny stocks. My first ever stock trade was a penny stock, but I evolved into trading different arbitrage strategies because I realized penny stocks is like going to the casino. Betting on red or betting on black. Sometimes you're gonna score big and sometimes you're not. But your buddy, I won't say his name, gave a great quote and he said, penny stocks are for scammers and dreamers, is what he said. And
my buddy or your buddy?
Kind of true.
Or Spencer's buddy?
No, Joel's buddy. That was Jeff. So that penny stocks, scammers and dreamers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just
it's kind of true though. Like, I mean, people are dreaming about getting rich on this penny stock, and then there's so many scams in these penny stocks too, pump and dumps and all kinds of stuff out there too. It's tough. So, you could get caught up in the hype, and you can make don't worry, make money quicker than penny stocks because they can really move. But you also, I'd say for every one, and everybody wants to focus on the one go on, there's like 9 that are going down. So it's like finding the needle in the haystack. What's going to be the next hot penny stock? And you get a whole bunch of these things, and you have 10 of them going down on you, and then maybe you'll strike it rich on one of them. But it's tough. You got to get very diversified when trading penny stocks.
Can anyone think of a single
go down?
Can anyone think of a single penny stock that actually turned into a good long-term story? I guess AMD, because AMD was a buck for a long time.
AMD wasn't a penny stock though, because it came from 40. It was it was a stock that we thought was going, it was a chip. Intel ate all its lunch, and obviously Lisa Su came around and turned that entire company around.
Right.
But it wasn't like your typical, like they actually had a business model. I mean, some of these penny stocks, just it's conceptual stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not even really businesses. Some of them have businesses, but some of them don't even have much of a business at all. You're in concept stage, and even the SPACs, like some of these are still.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's why the SPAC thing is so crazy, because these SPACs, they're also concepts.
They're
Most
concepts.
of them don't have businesses yet.
Yeah. they're concepts. And you know what? A lot of these aren't going to work out, but some of them, have worked out very well. But it's hot. People want to get rich fast. Everybody who's joined the market in the last March, April, May, we've said this, been spoiled. Market's gone straight up since March. And they're like, man, it's so easy to make the market. I'm quitting my day job, just becoming a full-time trader. I can make more money at this. But how is the next year going to look? And how are you going to, go when you get into a serious bear market? That's always, the question. So I stay away from the smaller stocks because they're more unpredictable. I like to, have setups where I can kind of predict things. You just get one headline on a penny stock and, like XBA, and it goes up 100% in 2 minutes. I mean, and then some of them, get a bad headline, they can fall substantially. And some of them actually go bankrupt. So it's tricky. I like to trade stuff that's, more predictable. That's why I'm more into the mega caps. People always say, I talk boring stocks a lot. We try to talk a little bit about everything on the show, but boring is what makes me money. Personally, I make all my money trading boring stocks. If I'm looking at what I have in my overnight portfolio, I got XLU. I've got, I've got it's all big caps, boring stocks, Bank of America, Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola. It's, all the boring names. But, I'm just trading them, doing a little index arb against them and looking, at different relationships and trading relationship-based trades that are more predictable.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because there were some other people who were asking about that one in the chat, and we have nothing to say about it.
Yes, they won't be asking about penny stocks.
No, we talk penny stocks. I like the penny stock questions because sometimes those are fun.
But don't
put your real money. Like don't go all your money in a penny stock.
If you want to play around, traded sub pennies. That's the thing. I mean, it's trading at 0.7589 right now. I mean, pennies are confusing enough. It's what is that? Trading in what? Tens,
what stock?
Hundreds. This SNDL, it trades in what, thousands?
Oh, you're looking at the
10,000 millions. Yeah, no. But anyways, all right. What else you want to talk about here, Spencer? What do you want to cover?
Let's see. We should. Did we cover like that? The out of favor, the high flyers sort of going out of favor yesterday. I guess we did a little bit, but like you look at all these names that have been in favor. I guess we talked about that earlier. I was thinking about.
There is some rotation out of those small. The major rotation we were seeing yesterday was out of the Jamayas, out of the stocks that were making it 20% a day. Because right now they're losing it 20% a day. I know I'm still long a little bit of Jamaya, and they were moving into the mega caps. I mean, the big day yesterday was Apple. Apple broke out yesterday, 120. That was a major resistance point. That was a breakout yesterday. So if you're looking at what to buy, I think I'm long Apple in the long-term portfolio, but I like it for a trade here too. I mean, it just classic breakout through 120. It's pulling back here a little bit with the market. So, well, yeah, but I'm looking at that 120, all those little highs. I think there's room here. And if you believe in seasonality, and we were going to have Jeff Hirsch on, but if you believe in like the Santa Claus rally coming and stuff, it'll be stocks like that carry us again. I would not be surprised if Apple can challenge all-time highs by the end of the year. So, you look at Apple, had a good day yesterday. Amazon's been a consolidation station forever around 3,200. That, you're setting up where you get into December and people are looking, Christmas coming. Everybody's going to be buying everything on Amazon. Think about the story there. I think Amazon can go to 3,500 by the end of the year. So there's two setups we're giving you right now. Facebook had its breakout. It really moved yesterday, but again, it was in consolidation station. People had forgotten about the mega cap tech for a while. They forgot about the FANGs because they were making so much money in the small little stocks, the small little tech stocks. But now all of a sudden, yesterday, those turned back into favor. So I would be a buyer of a pullback in Facebook. I would be, as trades, I would be a buyer of a pullback in Amazon. I would be a buyer of a pullback in Apple. I own Apple. I own Amazon in the long-term portfolio. But I would also put those on for trades here right now. I think they set up well into the end of the year as long as the market holds up.
All right. Let's see here. You just talked about so many different stocks.
FANG. I just talked FANG.
Okay.
You can go on to something else.
Someone asked a comment about why is Dunkin' Donuts flat? It's because it's getting taken out, right? What was the takeout price? 106 or something. Big Bill D likes when I get irritated. You should try watching a Michigan football game with me.
Oh yeah, do not try that. I do not recommend that in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Joe gets a bit stressed out watching football.
Not anymore. I'm used to losing.
Joel Mello. 2020 is Mello Joel out this year.
All my teams lose all the times. I only cheer for the loser teams, the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Lions. I decided I didn't like the Red Wings, so I chose the Edmonton Oilers because Red Wings won too much. So that's why I didn't like them either. I only cheer for loser teams.
What we need is Joel to be the mascot of Fubo TV now.
If Fubo is holding up here, Mitch, I'm still long at full disclosure. A little bit of an ugly candle yesterday, and you get the good news. It makes me want to sell the rest of my stock into this rally, but I kind of believe in the story here still, this Fubo TV. What's the market cap on this puppy?
This hit 31.
Yeah, it's probably could go red today. I mean, I probably should ring the register on the rest of it, but I have just a small piece left, 20% of the position. I sold it all too soon again. What's the market cap? Fubo, 1.8 billion. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We gotta cover PLTR. I'm just
Palantir. I know they love this stock. We never talk about
it. Look at that.
That's an ugly day.
Yeah.
This is all those little names people are panicking out. They thought stocks only went up, and now all of a sudden, they pulled the rug out from under them. $20, Joel. This thing bounced at 20?
No. Wow.
Who knows? It was 10. I think at 20 it could bounce.
And this was a Morgan Stanley downgrade, right?
Did they downgrade it today?
Spence?
That makes me want to buy it.
There's a bunch of ratings this morning. Yeah, it was a downgrade. So.
That makes me want to buy it.
It hasn't stopped going down yet. So we're trading at the lows of the pre-market session. Nothing in here. Dennis mentioned the $20 level. I see 20. There's a lot of air down here to 2063. Boom, that close was 23.82. You know what? It seems to be a little bit of congestion at 21. You had a high at 21.45 and it closed that day at 21.04. And then you had the big run up, obviously to 33.50, and then it got citroned. 20.63 low here. I'd maybe try and hold out for 21 here. But a lot of downside. A lot of downside in this one, just in a short period of time. And we were talking about this on the post show. Actually, the day that it got citroned, and it had
this one citroned.
It did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, calling it citroned is I mean,
what should I say?
That's a verb.
Just because it came out negative, he doesn't always have the same effect on stock. So he didn't he didn't crush Palantir.
He kind of did though, because it's straight down from that day.
Yeah.
I call him the bubble buster. We love Andrew Left. Andrew Left's awesome.
I know, but I'm saying his comments don't always affect the stock in the same way. This was like a half a citron. I feel like maybe not.
Anyways, I believe it was the day that it topped out at the 33.50. I remember saying that day though it went down a little bit and then it came all the way back up. So it gave you a second opportunity, but then the Andrew Left factor. So it eventually sold off. The guy makes good calls, man.
Some good ones, some bad ones.
He's been on the show. I like Andrew Left.
Yeah, he was on a couple weeks ago.
He's actually a really good guy.
Just to give you a quick preview of the earnings calendar today, a little bit light, mostly software names, CrowdStrike after the close, Splunk, Zscaler, Okta,
Cloud,
Snowflake. Those are the names.
It's Cloud Night.
Yeah, it's Cloud Night, and then tomorrow morning is Dollar General and Kroger. So, Cloud stocks earnings today.
Yeah.
Any ratings that jumped out to me? Let me see. Kohl's caught an upgrade today from Deutsche Bank to Bob.
Who's upgrading Kohl's now? For real?
Yep. Thank you very much. We've got an upgrade to.
Oh, that's a sell. I'll take the other side of the DB analyst there. That's just
wow.
So to the party.
Look at that.
Stock was $20 3.5 weeks ago. It's now 36. So it goes up 85%, and now you upgrade it. That's our bad call of the day right there, in my opinion. I think you're ringing the register in Kohl's just because the DB analyst upgraded it. That's my opinion.
Someone just threw in LPSD, I think, Lightspeed. Or did I get that right? LSPD.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. Is that Canadian?
Lightspeed POS Inc.
Point of sale. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Canadian.
$55. I mean, I know they said something about a couple acquisitions. I don't know about that, but I'm just looking at like this 55 is sticking out here like a sore thumb. So needs to take that out. 3 highs in a row, 56, 55, 50. I guess it's a little bit higher, and 55.62. But you got You got a major seller between 55 and 56.
Yeah.
I don't know if he or she's done yet.
Yeah.
Or they're going to step down, but man, that looks like a triple top to me. So if you want more upside, you better close over 56 bucks.
Yeah, you got that one right on. If it goes over 56, then it gets interesting again. But right now, I think especially with what's happened with Jemiah's and the plant Palantirs and the fuel cells, and you've had a hell of a run here too. There could be some profit taking in store. But it gets over 56. The good news is, again, this one hasn't been smacked around as hard as those, so maybe it wants to go higher. I mean, these are the kinds that, if those other stocks turn, these stocks could lead the way now. These could be your new leaders. So above 56, it's interesting. Until it's over 56.
Yeah, you got to be. There's someone working out of a piece here in a new stock. And
yeah.
I don't want to talk about NEO. I don't want to talk about it.
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
I'm not going to talk about it.
All right. I don't know. I don't know.
It looks broken now. That's an ugly break-in trend. I think you're selling rallies in NEO.
Selling? What's a rally, Dennis? It's down $4.72.
It's down $5, but I'm saying it gets back up. I think you sell.
They might sell 5,287 cars next quarter, is what I'm hearing, and that's going to be like a 72% increase. But I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that one.
It was worth more than GM. That was when it just got silly.
All right, Spencer. Who's our guest for tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened to Jeff Hirsch.
Maybe it's Jeff Hirsch.
Yeah.
We'll have to sync up with him tomorrow. We got Alan Brockstein, so we're going to talk more pot on tomorrow's show. I want to remind you all, you can catch a replay of this, obviously on YouTube, but also we're on every major podcast platform. Thanks to all the comments, all the likes, all the super chats. Hit that like button, show us some love there. Please remember that all the information from our show, all of our shows, meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. We'll be back at 3:40 p.m. Eastern time to wrap up today's session. In the meantime, everyone, have a good rest of your day and good luck out there.